Hello, my name is Suzanna Maria Emmanuel.
And I'm Stephen Hastings. So it's a bit strange being in a caravan at the side of the sea, the BBC, isn't it?
It's lovely here.
It's
I
beautiful.
love the people here. They're so open.
Oh yeah.
It's very lovely.
Compared to New Zealand, where you've just come from.
Compared to New Zealand, I miss the beaches. I lived on a beach, in a beach house, right on the beach. And every single morning I used to walk down the beach. And I had Whale Island in front of me, and I just listened to the sound of the sea, and it was just my absolute glorious place. So I miss that.
And I was in beautiful Ipswich, of course, then, before coming to see you a year ago.
So many
Christmas.
people. Remember how I said so many people in Colchester, and you said, what, so many people? But it is so many people compared to where I was, because I'm right there from Wakatani, little place over in New Zealand. And there's only like 6,000 people population there. So to me, Colchester was like so busy. And then I went to London, and I am just like, OMG, this is just so huge.
But I was saying, oh no, Ipswich isn't that big. Because I was used to Mum Bay.
Ipswich. Oh, but I love the shops. I love the shops. Shops are good. I love shopping.
Oh, you love clothes, don't you?
I do love clothes.
The wardrobes are filling up.
Need to get me a new wardrobe soon.
Oh, no. Well, we've just got you a new house, haven't we, in Driftfield, so.
We do.
And there's plenty of storage room in that. Luckily, you're not into shoe collections too much.
It wouldn't fit in the house.
No. How many clothes do you think you've got? Dresses?
Oh, so many. But I need them so much for my work. Because wherever I go, I need to talk to people about my work and what I do. And every time it's on the video, on the camera, photo shoot. So they can't see me with the same clothes all the time. That's why I've got so many clothes.
But can't you wear one twice? Do you think people would notice?
Maybe. If I wore one piece of item twice, it would be probably once every few months.
You can
or
put a scarf
with a
on and
scarf.
hide it.
Yes, you can change
a dustbin
it.
bag over the top.
Yes, so people love it. You know, when they see me on YouTube, for instance, they see which video was last because they see the piece of item that I'm wearing, so they notice that and they think it's just beautiful. But yes, it gets rather expensive.
So now 1 year on, because you moved to me, what, a year ago?
Yes, totally.
Because I went to your course in New Zealand a year ago now, isn't it?
In December 2015, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you flew all the way from England to Wakatani.
To do your course for 3 weeks.
And it was just so beautiful.
And then we met and fell in love.
We did.
And left engaged.
It's just so quick work, isn't it? And you suddenly had 2 children. Well, I had 2 children before that. So suddenly you were daddy too.
I inherited your children.
Thank you.
Thrown into the deep end. And then, what, July you came. You came over to England.
Yes.
So that was like 1 year ago, 1 year and a day. So this is our 1 year and a day anniversary.
Totally.
In England.
And it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
And look how we're celebrating it.
I know, and look at the beach here.
Yes, I love
beautiful
Bridlington.
British
It's beautiful.
beaches.
I love the people here.
How can you say you miss New Zealand beaches?
Well, I do, but because that's what I know. It's where I lived for years, so it's beautiful.
Yeah.
The people in New Zealand were very lovely too. And I found them, you know, on a spiritual level to be very, very open, because so many were into crystal healing and I'm yet to experience meeting so many spiritual people here in England.
In England.
And I'm so looking forward to it. Yeah, because it's just so beautiful living that life.
Do you find people here a lot less spiritual than in New Zealand?
Well, I haven't really met too many spiritual people yet. But in New Zealand, it was very easy for me to find spiritual people because people were so open to energy and feeling. And you go into a crystal shop and everyone just felt the energies, and some of the people felt it too much and they needed to get out of the shops because it was too much. Yeah. And here I find that people don't really...
They don't feel it,
They don't feel it in the same way. Mind you, I haven't met too many people who do, so I can't really say that too much, but it's just different. And I'd love to find more people to really, really work with, because I work with very, very high spiritual frequencies to help many people heal. That's what I used to do in New Zealand too. And that's why I was sent over to England too. Do you know that I knew you were coming 2 years before you came to England?
Really?
Really?
Were you told my name?
No, I wasn't told your name. Mind you, I told another name.
You were told my
which
nickname.
was really interesting,
Yeah, that's right.
and I didn't know what it meant. And I had these visions because I'm very spiritual and I connect to spirit on a very high level, and I can see these things. And I didn't know what it meant, but I was shown that someone was going to come from overseas, and I knew where it was coming from, and I would be going. And it's just so amazing. And 2 years later, on Christmas Day, you were there.
Yeah, well, I knew my whole life. I knew, not my whole life, but I'm 52 now, and when I was about 30, I felt my whole life that there was someone I had to meet, and I guess when I was younger I didn't know who that person was, and then I guess when I was about 34 then I felt it very strongly, so I found it very difficult to have a relationship. I didn't really want one because I knew there was someone waiting for me, and everyone I met, it was just, no, you're not the person. So like Ben, you know my friend Ben.
Yes.
He was always telling me that, you know, I was too shy and this reason and that reason. I used to say, no, I'm waiting for someone. And they thought I was completely balmy, but the feeling was so strong. And also, when I had my company in India and Dubai, I used to tell people then that, because they used to talk about how hard I worked, I'd say, well, I'm working hard now, but on this, but later my life's going to be completely spiritual.
So you knew too.
Well,
it's just amazing.
I knew
it?
deep down. I knew that I was going to meet somebody, but I didn't know it was you until just before we met, really.
Yes.
Because I saw you on YouTube. I was just watching YouTube and a screen changed, and then, because I was watching someone else, and then you appeared. And then I just saw you and I got mesmerised by what you were saying. Because I'm a scientist, so I've always been looking for the truth. And, you know, I'm interested in Einstein and quantum physics now. I've always been searching.
You saw me channeling.
And then I saw you channeling, I think it was Lord Emmanuel.
It's amazing that you
Chiron.
didn't find it very strange, though. You know, a lot of people, they see me channeling and they just think, what is this woman doing? But, yeah, so it's just interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, but for me, it was, if you were saying things that I didn't agree with, then I would have thought, no, you're nuts.
Yes.
But because you were saying deep truths that no one knows, I mean, even as a scientist, you don't know those things, but when you hear the truth, you know it's the truth, and you know it fits science. You know the truth when you hear it, so immediately it didn't seem strange to me. It's like, wow, this is incredible information. And also I was writing a book, or started to think about writing a book, and they were what I thought were original ideas, but there you were saying them back from the other side of the world, because I was in England at the time and you were in New Zealand, so opposite sides of the world. And I'm thinking, wow, so my ideas weren't unique, so therefore why am I writing a book when someone else knows them? But of course you were channeling that information through. Right. It wasn't your information.
I didn't know that information. I don't know what I'm channeling through until afterwards when I start listening.
Because it's coming from angels.
A lot of other people know more about the things that I bring through than myself, because I just tend to channel through the information for 2 to 3 hours, and during the big workshops like the Divine Pineal Gland Activations, I stand there for 2.5 days just bringing through information, and then I'm in the space of I let it go. I just don't think about it anymore. Because that would send me bonkers.
Yeah.
And then so everyone else tells me what they're learning, and I just think, wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it's the same when because like now we're doing these YouTube videos which you post on the Suzanna and Emmanuel YouTube page. You don't know what you've said.
No, I don't know. I got no idea.
But that's really bizarre, because you will be speaking for 2 to 3 hours,
yes,
channeling different angels through,
yes,
and coming out with information that people don't know.
No, but it's not me that's speaking.
No.
If it was me that was speaking, I'd be like, wow, what am I doing here? I would be a very good actress if I remembered everything.
Well, yeah, and you're not signed, like if you're talking about DNA and multidimensional DNA, you're not a scientist, you don't know that.
No, I don't know anything.
Or if you're speaking about Stonehenge and what it was really for, because nobody knew
just
that,
magnificent,
then there's no way you could know. But for me, what's funny, and what was funny when we first met, was that you really don't know what you've said.
No, I don't know. I really don't know, and people don't get that. They really stand there and say, Susanna, don't you know? And I'm just like, what? What don't I know? You know, so it's beautiful.
Because you go into trance, yeah. And that's bizarre. And then sometimes you're not happy because I put it on YouTube and you haven't seen it yourself yet.
No.
So what did I say? and was it okay? Yeah, so it's quite strange, really. But I guess in New Zealand, people were less shocked than they would be in England. Do you think?
Well, I think so, because they were used to having spiritual mediums around, and they were used to seeing channelings. Not as deep as what I go, though. They'd never ever been in a room, for instance, of a spiritual healer, and have a circle. And so they've never had someone go in the midst of a circle and bring through an angel and just feeling the love just pouring into them.
Yeah.
And do you know that a lot of people that I get in those circles, like in New Zealand, didn't believe that it was real. And they brought their husbands or their wives with them. And their husbands would say to their wives, I don't believe it until I see it, and then I'll believe it.
Yeah.
And so they sit there with their arms folded over, and they're really staring at me really hard when I'm in trance to make sure that I'm not reading lines or not fooling the people, or that I haven't got a microphone in my ear or something that's happening, and they just stare, and then they feel the flows of love coming in. And by the end, when I open up my eyes, they're just like, oh, that's so beautiful. And then I do give them all readings, and they're just like, how do you know all this? Like 35 to 40 readings, and like so fast. How do you do all this? And everyone just knows what it is about, so they all leave all very happy.
Well, the thing that I was amazed about, because like before we met, I'd seen you channeling on YouTube, and I just absorbed everything that was said, because it's just facts. But the thing that surprised me was when I flew over from England to New Zealand to do the pineal gland activations, that it's the energy that comes through. It's not just it's not the words, it's that, wow, you're blasted with these waves of love, and they feel very hot, even if it's very cold outside. And it's just amazing.
Those are the healing
waves, because you don't get that from YouTube, do you?
No, you don't get it. Not in that degree. It's the people that sit in those healing circles, for instance, at that time, their whole energy systems, they become revived, they become more healed, and then the people are happier because we're stuck with so much fear and pain in us, and all these things are just stuck within our energy systems. And so when the masters come through and they receive all this most beautiful love waves, they can truly, it's almost like being released from it, so that their thoughts become higher. And I've seen so many people become happier. And they all cried. When I left New Zealand, they said, no, Suzanna, you can't leave. And so I had so many people at the end, they were just crying, and I gave them extra workshops because they just wanted it. And there's just so much extra that I gave them, and they were just donating so much. And they gave me so much, and I was just crying and crying and crying, and it was really, really hard for me to leave New Zealand because it just became so big. And now people fly from New Zealand to come and see me all the way to England. Can you believe that?
Well, it's only, the 4th of August they're all coming, so your friends will be over now.
Oh, wow.
About 50 people to Driftfield.
People coming.
Little Driftfield. Imagine what it's going to be like for them, people from all over the world. Because the hotels are already booked, aren't they?
Yes, totally open, totally booked. They're so looking forward to it. But it's just so powerful and it's so beautiful. And the thing is that I love about it, personally, is that it's life-changing for them. You know, their lives become greater. They get jobs. And a lot of the people, they find greater health coming in too, because they're so much happier. You know, they have purpose in life. Which for me is really, really important as a healer. It's important for people to find their purpose. And they find their spirit guide connection too. They understand what spirit is like. And even when I was very little and I didn't know anything about spirit, to me it was very frightening because I didn't really understand it. And now to know how beautiful it is, and I can even teach youngsters if they're troubled with it, not that I would do if they don't ask me, or if the parents are, you know, unless they ask me to do it, I will do it. But if they don't ask me, then I'll never ever push anything on others, ever. But I can teach people, I can teach youngsters, you know, how to ground, how to shield themselves, how to become less fearful, how to be in the love, you know, and this just comes through, and children are so happy. I even see it in my own kids. You know, they're so happy, they understand. It's an understanding that they have because there's so many young children around now that are so gifted and so talented, and there's so few adults that actually understand what they need. So you have these children running around and they see so much, like auras and everything, and so many people, so many adults don't understand what it is they're seeing.
Yeah.
And they're so different with their intelligence too. There's so many children that are coming to our play now that want to share dancing, creative songs, you know, and all that, and they're stuck in a classroom. So, but that's not really why they're here. But unfortunately, society doesn't understand that. To me, that's really, really important, to bring that awareness in. You know, that's what I do. That's why I'm here. And
well, it was amazing for me, because I'd seen the testimonials, even people saying that their friends were cured of cancer and this sort of thing. The doctors couldn't understand it in New Zealand, and that their ageing process has stopped or slowed down as they go into greater love.
All these things happen.
All these testimonials come through, yeah. But for me, because I've been a scientist all my life, and then when I flew over, and then I had that pineal gland activation, and suddenly you start to communicate with angelic beings.
Yes.
It's strange, you know, because your reality just changes like that.
Yeah.
It's like your internet is suddenly switched on.
But it's beautiful, isn't it? I mean, suddenly you understand a higher way, and suddenly the fear of life becomes so much less, because now you can put your trust in another source, as it were. Well, you know, it's so lovely.
Well, the whole universe actually opens up to you. It's like you said, that people fear that which they don't understand, but once you understand it, then you no longer have any fear, and then you start to, I mean, even me, my ageing process is slowed. I was getting grey hair, and my fingers, you know, like almost arthritis, they started to ache, and then since that, in the last year, it's just gone completely. And also the relationship I now have with spirit and angels, and it's amazing to have that open up. But if you speak, most people aren't aware of that.
No, they're not aware, and they're very, very afraid of that, or they think you're absolutely bonkers when you start talking about, you know, your spirit loved ones, or that you see them, or that, you know, spirit guides are all around you to guide you when you desire that. People don't understand that. They're so, well, I call it closed-minded. Well, they would say, no, I'm not closed-minded. But anyway, that's my personal thought, I guess.
But the schooling system and everything just programs people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And because they don't remember it, how are they to know?
Well, that's right.
It's like people just don't know anything they've got no history or memory of, and they find it very difficult to remember.
Yes.
But because everything's changing now, everything's changing.
A lot of people are awakening.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to know that. Like right now, this sounds bonkers probably to people that don't know anything about that world, and yet in 10 years' time, they're all going to know.
It's just going to be natural. It's going to be a life skill. That's the thing. People need to understand that side. You know, even energy, just understanding energy, and that you are less than 1% physical. So whatever you see in the mirror is less than 1%. And most of that, all of your other bits and pieces are energetic. And when you understand that, and it's just so beautiful, and you learn to work with that, and learn to understand that all the fear is an energy, anger is an energy, and happiness is an energy. And when you can work with the happiness more than the fear or the anger, then you become more happy. Because it's all to do with your emotional side. It's everything. It's you. You're beautiful. Everyone's a spiritual being. Yeah.
We're all like radios, really, and that's what, see, in England there's lots of spiritual churches and things, but they try and prove that there's life after death, which I know now, even as a scientist, that there's no such thing as death. There is not.
No,
it's not possible.
Nobody dies.
Energies can't end. They can be changed, but they can't be created or destroyed. But people are also like radio. So when you're feeling angry and down and unhappy, then you tune into those somber frequencies around you,
and it makes you more.
And that's reflected back.
Yes, because everything is magnified back to you like a mirror.
Yeah, whereas when you're more healed and loving, then
you can shoot upwards.
Yeah, then everyone around you seems better, and life seems better, and your health gets better as well.
Yes.
Because bad health, sickness and disease can only really exist in that lower vibration or frequency, not higher love frequency.
And that's why we need to pump it up. We need to pump it up.
Yeah.
And help more people to understand that. And imagine if so many millions of people could understand that and open their mind to it, or at least learn to open their mind to that whole other learning and be in the love and just try it.
Yeah.
Imagine how much love and peace we could give or could have as people, you know, together, because as a collective, together, we can just do so much. Do you know that as a collective, we bring whole lots of wars into this world?
Oh, yeah.
So many people don't believe that. You know, every time we tune into the media, what do we see? War. So what do we create? War, more pain, more fear. And whatever we believe in comes about because we are creators of our own world, because we are creators of that energy.
Yeah.
And the more that we believe in that energy to be, the more it comes into being. So imagine if people learn to heal with angelic love and learn to understand about energy and learn to bring in love and peace. Imagine what we could do for the world. And imagine what we could do for the children who are sick. And imagine what we could do for all the starvation and all the things that, you know, we as people really care about. I know I really care about that. I'd love to see people just happy all around me. You know, no sickness, no people in wheelchairs, and just even age reversal. Now, people don't believe that's possible.
But the funny thing is, every single time you trial anything, you have to use a placebo. And a placebo can, which is basically if you give someone a tablet and you tell them it's that tablet and they take it, then they become healed in like 45 to 65% of the cases even, for instance. So doctors know that. So when they're testing something, they have to do a placebo and a normal tablet and look at the difference. And maybe the difference is only 1 or 2%. So all of the drug companies know the power of the mind. They know,
just magnificent,
if people believe they're going to heal, they heal, and that is scientific fact and medical fact. But the drug companies don't talk about that because they don't make any money on belief systems.
Isn't it sad?
Yeah. Instead, it's like, you know, you need a tablet. You're not well. You buy a tablet from us.
But those tablets make people more sick.
Yeah.
And they make people more unhappy and more depressed and more hooked on things. And oh wow, you know. But one day it will happen.
Well, I think it's happening quickly now because I mean I've experienced it since being activated, certainly.
Yeah, of people who have been activated, you know, with Ka'airon, who's a very, very high archangel, and they just receive the most magnificent healings and blessings, and it's just beautiful. And they can manifest. Do you know that? Manifesting things they really desire.
Yeah, in their life, yeah.
Yeah, like, and a lot of people don't even understand what manifestation means. You know,
they feel disempowered.
Yeah,
they want things, but they don't know how to get it.
Yeah.
Like there's this book, The Secret, but that's not. It doesn't work for many people.
No,
but
it didn't work for me.
No, but the angels you channel teach people how to do that for real.
Yes.
And everybody is seeing,
it's beautiful.
The activated have seen real results, and those testimonials are on the website.
You know, I've seen it in my own personal life. I need something, and it happens, and it's so beautiful, and I get more than what I need.
Yeah.
And it's so lovely, and yeah, the activated ones, the ones who come to those pineal gland activations, they receive that, and it's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I just pray that many more people will want it too.
Yeah.
And to even open their minds to it.
Well, for the first time ever in England, that's available now, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
But,
and wouldn't it be wonderful? Because I know English people are very, very strong with their minds. I mean, wasn't this land, England, called Angel Land a long time ago?
Engeland means land of angels in German.
Go. You see, very special people here.
It used to be very much like that. It used to be very magical.
I love the people here.
Yeah, but there's been so much fear put into people.
Yeah, well, that's true.